Hello friends of Sudoku and good morning and welcome to this hot Sudoku puzzle from the New York Times. Today is the 23rd of January 2024. What have we got here? I like a 9 for this square because this 9 blocks across and this 9 blocks up. So yeah, this is a nice 9. We now have a 6 and a 9 blocking up here, and we have a 6 and a 9 blocking up here. So we know that a 9 goes here or here, and a 6 goes in any of these three squares. And we can place a 7 here because these two 7s blocking these 6 squares, and this 7 also blocks this square. So far so good. I like a 1 here because this 1 blocks across, this 1 blocks up, and this 1 blocks up. Nice. 2, 4, and 6 here. I wonder if we can do something intelligent with that. Well, 2 blocks down here, giving me a 2 here, here blocking a, well, that's no help, but it looked nice. An 8 is going to hide out in one of these two positions. And we also have a 5 in one of these three squares because we have 5, 8 here, we have 5, 8 here. So 5 and 8 here, here, or here. I'm interested in column 7. We only have 4 givens. Let's do a man count. We need to find a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. There's a 2, 5, 6 here. So this is a 1, 3. There's a 1, 5, 3 here. So this is a 2, 6. I don't think I can solve any of those right now, but let's try and keep this in mind. A 5, of course, must go here or here. So I'm not really sure where to find the next number at the moment. These two squares, we can figure out what they have to be, and they must, I think, be a 4 and a 7. We only have 3 givens in row 5, right? But if we look at all the other squares here, we can see that these two squares can't be a 1, and they can't be a 2. They can't be a 2 because one of these must be a 2. Look at the 2 blocking down here. So one of these is a 2, right? So not a 1, not a 2, not a 3. They can be a 4, but they cannot be a 5. They cannot be a 6. They can be a 7, but not an 8 and a 9. So we got 4 and 7 in these two squares here. So in effect, now we have 5 givens for the row, and these now must be 1, 2, 5, and 8. 5, of course, must go here or here. And that's as close I can get. So 4 and 7 here, therefore a 3, 6, and a 2 here. Also not yet possible. And the 7 here blocks across, the 7 blocks down, the 7 blocks across. So one of these must be a 7. The 4 is blocking over, and the 4 block, that doesn't give me anything at all. Except a possible 4 here and here, of course. So now maybe I should have a look at this column 4, because we know that one of these must be a 4. What else can we say? We can say that we need to find a 1, 3, 5, and an 8 in addition to the 4. And there's a 1, 5, 3 here. So this is a 4 or an 8. And unfortunately, that is all I can say about column 4. However, now that we found a few numbers, we can see that this 2 blocks here, here, and here. And this 2 blocks here. So this has got to be a 2. Now 1, 4, 8 for these squares here. But it has escaped me until now that this square can't be a 4 because one of these must be a 4. We also have a 4 block in this square, don't we? So this must be a 4. Now we have a 2, 6 here, and we have a 2, 6 here. And we have a 4 for one of these two squares. Since we have a 4 and an 8 both blocking here, we know that two of these three squares up here have got to be a 4 and an 8. We still need to find, though, a 1 and a 3. So 1, 3 here, this definitely is a 4 or an 8. And that tells us that since we already figured out that one of these is a 4 blocking up here and blocking down here, and this 4 blocking across, this 4 blocking across, that this has got to be a 4. That takes away a possible square for a 2. We have this 2 blocking here and here, and we have this 2 blocking here and here. Therefore, this must be a 2. That means that this can't be a 2 anymore. It's got to be a 6, and this, therefore, must be the 2, which blocks over here. This 2 blocks here, and this 2 blocks here. Here's a 2. These 2's block these 5 squares up here in block 3. Therefore, this is a 2. So now we have 2 candidates here, 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 and here. 3, 5, and 8 here. Can we do anything with that? I'm not sure. I don't think we can, not yet. And here 2, 3, and a 7. But I think we have some prospects now in column 7. This square in particular is very restricted. It cannot be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, or 9. It has got to be a 6. Now we know that one of these must be a 3, and that tells us that this square must be a 3. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a 3 in row 8, would we? So now, in addition to the 4 and an 8 up here, we have a 3, because 3, 4, and 8 all block this square, which therefore has got to be a 1. And these must be an 8, which blocks over here, and a 5, which has to go here. This 5 and this 5 block these 6 squares, therefore we have a 5 here. And these must be a 1 and a 4. This, therefore, is an 8. Now we have 7 and 8 up here. Therefore, this is a 4, and this is a 1. We do remember the 6 and a 9 that had to go in 2 of these squares. We now also need a 1. And that's easier because we have this 1 blocking across and this 1 blocking across. So here is a 1. The 9 blocks are over here, so here's a 6 and here is a 9. So where are we at now? I was watching these two. There have to be an 8 and a 7. Therefore, we need a 1, 4, and a 5 with these squares. 1 and 5 blocks over. So here's a 4, and these are now 1 and 5. And the 1 and a 5 block here. Therefore, we know that these two must be a 1 and a 5 remote pair, making this square a 3. Now 7 and a 6 for these squares. The 6 blocks here. Here's a 7. Here's a 6. Now we can get back to our 4 7s up here. Here's a 4 and here's a 7. Now this must be a 4 because this 4 blocks here and this 4 blocks here. So here's a 4. And we also need a 3 and an 8 here. Remember, the 8 forces the 3 to go here and the 8 to go here. These 3's here block here, here, and here, and this 3 blocks here and here. So here's a 3. Here a 5 and an 8. But these, of course, must be a 1, 7, 9. We got a 7 and a 9 blocking here, so this is a 1. And we got this one blocking here now. Here's a 5. And here's a 1. 2 and 3. 3 and 6. We must look elsewhere, I think. We have a couple of 8s blocking across here. So here's an 8. And we remember that we had 8 and 5 in 2 of these squares. So 5 blocks over now. So here's a 5. And we have a 5 over here. The 6 blocks up here. Here's a 6. And therefore we have a 6 here. And we have a 6 here. And we have a 3 here. And that gives us a 3 here and a 2 here. And a 2 here and a 4 here. That makes this a square 4 and this a 9. Which blocks it down? We have a 9 blocking across. Therefore, this must be a 9. And this empty square here must be a 7, giving me a 7 here and an 8 here. That is just from our earlier analysis. 5 and 8 still to be solved. The 8 blocks down. Here's a 5